Holy calamity, scream insanity. Hopefully you're going to be another big fan of me, Brick. It's true. I am Toy Insanity. Happy New Year. Indeed, the first video on this channel for 2022 is Scream Insanity 9. And what we're going to do today is look at this 60-year-old Time magazine. As you can see, I framed the cover. Okay. And this is the magazine itself. So I had to get it for my Scream Insanity collection. It came out March 31st, 1961. And we'll glance at the article about guilt and anxiety. That's why the cover's here. There's even a little bit of a bio on Edvard Munch. They're describing why they chose the cover. And, we can look at the ads, glance at the other articles, whatever. Time magazine was the United States' first weekly magazine. It started in 1923, and it wasn't until 2020 that they switched the format. So I think sometime in 2020 they became once every 2 weeks. So they had a long run. They're still around, but they had a long run making a weekly magazine. You can see it was 25 cents back then, or $7 for the full year. I think that's just a great cover. Also, it's very unusual that Time magazine ever did a cover that wasn't of a person. A real living, actual person significant to history, society, and culture. And also, these are the candies I made from the molds I showed in Scream Insanity 7. Some of them I stuffed with peanut butter, poured chocolate on top. And some of them, this is just icing, so it's probably going to melt. Actually, it doesn't look that bad. Nom, 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 nom. Candy Insanity. We made ice cubes with those. They're called Ice Screams. Check the Scream Insanity playlist. Scream Insanity 7. Time magazine. March 31st, 1961. Oh, it's rich. Okay. First page would be an ad for Yardley shaving cream. Most men ruin a shave with too much phone. A long-distance call never gets buried in a box. Long-distance rates from Bell Telephone Service, Philly to D.C., 65 cents. Letters to the editor. Here we go. You're going to appreciate this. For this week's cover story on guilt and anxiety, a most 20th century subject, Time found the most appropriate cover expression of the subject in a painting called The Cry, which dates from Berlin in 1893. Now, side note already, this is the Scream. I don't know when it was ever called The Cry. We typically call it The Scream. Its full title it translates to The Scream of Nature. Now, Edvard Munch was Norwegian, but he was living in Berlin at the time when he painted this. But, again, in 1893, as far as I know back then, a lot of people called it The Cry. I don't know. And there is his famous 1895 self-portrait. I've used that in a lot of my Scream Insanity videos. Okay. It was painted by Norwegian artist Edvard Munch, pronounced Monk, who, although a founder of the Expressionist school of painting, has only lately begun to gain some fame. Of his turn-of-the-century contemporaries, Van Gogh, Gauguin, and Toulouse Lautrec. Oh, this is rich. I gotta finish this candy bite. Considered a madman much of his life, the anguished and neurotic Munch was the son of a military surgeon who became a religious fanatic later in life, and a mother who died of tuberculosis when the boy was 5. I always felt, recalled Munch, that I was treated unjustly without a mother, sick and threatened with punishment in hell. His own life was a succession of scandalously successful art shows denounced for their fever-sick hallucinations, of troubled love affairs, heavy drinking, instability, and finally, nervous collapse. He spent the last 30 years of his life in semi-seclusion in a large country house on the outskirts of Oslo, painting and refusing to sell his paintings. A few years before his nervous collapse, he painted self-portrait with cigarettes, see this, which has been called a vision of demonic grandeur, much as he thought of himself as seen by the world. Okay, fascinating. Magnavox TV, look at that classic. By the way, I got this magazine March 31st, 1961. I got it on eBay for about $10. Laos, a lot of it has to do with war, national defense. Oh, the Cold War, a lot of this has to do with Russia. We were deep, 61, we're deep into the Cold War. Current events for Russia, Laos, Vietnam, France, Poland, United Nations. Look at that car, beautiful. Plymouth, solid beauty. These are all updates of various happenings in the world. Okay, let's try to do it this way. Spalding, Detroit to Chicago without a battery, if you say so. Consolidated, the largest enamel paper specialist. A closely held corporation can fall apart after the death of a stockholder. Royal Globe Insurance. Concrete outlasts asphalt 3-1. Oh, yeah. I saw this ad is weird. A cigarette ad. Vincent and Hedges with toys. Toy soldiers. Advertising cigarettes. Here's the article. Guilt and anxiety. The anatomy of angst. A lot about psychiatry. A glossary of phobias. Astrophobia is the fear of stars. Allurophobia is fear of cats. Ophidiophobia, fear of snakes. Phobophobia, the fear of being afraid. Phonophobia, fear of one's own voice. Man, you got it rough. You're afraid of your own voice. A little bit about power dynamics. An ad. Blue Cross Blue Shield. Look at this. Shout out to my Monster Jam fans. The Uncommon Motor Oil. Wolf's Head Motor Oil. They are still around and they have a Monster Jam monster truck. An ad for airplanes. Ad for some modern art. These are 3 different sculptures you can buy. These look cool. Open house for machine tools. Cinema. Movies out at the time. What is this? You can hear the quick stuff of employee enthusiasm. How much is a nun paid? I've always wondered that myself. Okay, so here's some movies you can go see. A Raisin in the Sun. Saturday night and Sunday morning. 2 movies they were promoting for that week or reviewing. There's a way to do it better. Find it, said Thomas Edison. This magnetic spectrometer will aid scientists at Stanford in their investigation of nuclear structure. Okay. Business, Wall Street, industry. Trader Vic at the entrance to his new restaurant, along with the grass bami and ragoon rugby. Massachusetts Mutual Life Insurance. Books. Odyssey of the Self-Centered Self. Robert Elliott Fitch. An Only Child. Frank O'Connor. Accutron watches. I got chocolate on my vintage magazine. Okay. World leader in heavy-duty trucks, white trucks. All right, everyone. Thank you for checking out my channel. Thank you for checking out my video. This is Scream Insanity number 9. Check the Scream Insanity playlist. Agony, anxiety, and guilt. Edward Monk's The scream of nature, aka the scream, aka the cry.